Hello students, welcoming you all back to the lecture, and in this lecture we are going to start our new chapter, which is solutions. Okay, so this is our chapter 2, solutions, and in this chapter we are going to study about the solutions. Many more topics are there, such as the some of the topics which are included from your class 11th course: mass percentage, volume percentage. Okay, then molarity, molality, normality, all these things will be there. Mole fraction will be there, and after this we are going to study about some of the characteristics of the solution. We will try in this particular lecture to cover as much as possible. Okay, so let's start this chapter. So what is a solution? So the definition of a solution can be given by the definition can be given as: a solution is a homogeneous of mixture of homogeneous mixture of two or more substances whose composition can be varied within certain limits. Okay, so what is a solution? So solution is a homogeneous mixture. Solution is a homogeneous mixture. So as you have studied about mixtures in class ninth, so what were the mixtures? If I am going to define you about the mixture, then what were the mixtures? So the mixtures were the combination of two or more substances, two or more substances in any ratio. In any ratio, no definite or no recorded ratio is there for forming a mixture. Okay, in any ratio you can combine two or more substances together to form a mixture. So in the mixtures there were two types, as we have studied in class ninth. In the mixtures there were two types. The first type of mixture was homogeneous mixture, and the second type was heterogeneous mixture. Okay, these were the two types of mixture. So what is a first, let's discuss about what are these two types of mixtures. Then it will be more easy for us to define a solution. Okay, so what is a homogeneous mixture? A mixture in which the components are difficult to be differentiated with each other. Difficult to be differentiated with each other. Examples: in the examples of homogeneous mixture, the first type is the solutions only. Okay, because in a solution the particles or the components are very difficult to be uh, distinguished among them. Okay, second, some if you are making a mixture of salt and baking powder. Okay, nowadays if you are making the mixture of salt and baking powder, then it will be also very difficult to distinguish between these two substances. Okay, because salt is also white in color and powdered in form, and baking powder is also white in color and powdered in form. Okay, so it will be very difficult to distinguish which is salt and which is baking powder in the particular mixture. Okay, next is the heterogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous mixture. So the heterogeneous mixture can be defined as, I am making space for writing my heterogeneous mixture definition. Okay, so the heterogeneous mixture can be defined as a mixture in which the components are easily differentiable. Okay, easily differentiable. It means by your naked eye only we can easily differentiate them. Example, mixture of mud and water. Okay, mixture of coal and chalk powder. Okay, so all these are some examples of your mixtures which can be heterogeneous, because here the components can be easily differentiated by our open eyes or our naked eyes only. Okay, so here I have given you the definition of homogeneous mixture, that a mixture in which the components are difficult to be differentiated with each other by our naked eyes. By our naked eyes, I am adding this thing here. So as you know that solution is one of the example for the homogeneous mixture, and about solution we are going to study in this chapter. So hence it was necessary to tell you about this particular thing, that what is a homogeneous mixture. Now, as the definition here says that mixture, a homogeneous mixture is nothing other than the solution. Okay, so solution can be classified on the basis of the number of the components. We can classify the solutions on the basis of their number of components. So on the basis of the number of components, if I am going to classify the solutions, then there are three types of solutions. There are three types of solutions which can be found out here. First is the binary solution. First is the binary solution in which two components will be combined together. Okay, two components will be combined here to form a solution. Then it is called as binary solution. It will be called as a binary solution. Second is the ternary solution or tertiary solution. Okay, so tertiary solution or ternary solution is a solution in which three components will be combined. Okay, three components will be combined together to form a solution. Similarly, the last type is the quaternary. Okay, quaternary solution. Quaternary solution in which four components will be combined together. Four components will be combined together to form a solution. Okay, so these were the classification of solutions on the basis of their number of components they were including in them. Okay, now solutions are having two parts. Solutions are having two parts, or we can define the two components of the solutions in the following way. That is, solutions can be defined as the mixture of solvent plus solute. Okay, solution can be defined as the mixture of solvent plus solute. Now, what is solvent and what is solute? Let's discuss about these two topics. What is solvent and what is solute? So, solvent. Solvent is a component in which is present in the largest quantity in the solution. Okay, we can define solvent as the component which is present in the largest quantity in the solution, while the solute can be defined as the component present in the lesser quantity in the solution. Okay, the component which is present in the lesser quantity in the solution will be termed as a solute. So if I am taking an example here for a solution of water plus salt, let's say I have taken 1 tablespoon of salt in 1 liter of water. In 1 liter of water, I have taken 1 tablespoon salt. So here you can see that on the basis of if I'm considering the quantity of the substances or the components here, then water is of higher quantity, water is of higher quantity here, and the salt is of lower quantity here. Okay, salt is of lower quantity. So hence you can say that water is solvent here and the salt is solute here. Okay, the salt is solute here. And both this solvent plus solute is forming the salt water solution. Okay, salt water solution. Also, this was an example for your binary solution. Okay, for a tertiary solution, ternary solution or a tertiary solution, you can take an example here. If I am taking water plus lemon juice plus sugar. Okay, so if I am taking water as 1 liter water in amount, lemon juice of about 50 ml to let's say it is 100 ml, 100 ml juice, lemon juice I have taken, and sugar is taken 2 tablespoons. Okay, I am just assuming, you can take it more. Okay, so this is nothing other than a lemon juice. Okay, it is a lemon water, what we call it as lemonade. It is a lemonade. Okay, so lemonade I am forming here. So here you can see three components are been included here to form this solution. So hence this will be a ternary solution. So here you can see that the amount of water is larger here. The higher quantity is present of water only here. Okay, then lower quantity for your both the salt and sugar, sorry, both the sugar and lemon juice are present in lower quantity here. So hence solvent will be here water and solute will be here that your lemon juice and sugar. Okay, so hence this is the solvent and this is the solute, or this is the definition and with example for the solvent and solute. Okay, let's move further. On the basis of the types of components, okay, on the basis of the types of component, the classification of solution, types of components, the classification of solution are, the classification of solution are, first is the gaseous solution. Okay, first is the gaseous solution. So the gaseous solution can be of three types. The gaseous solution can be of three types. First is the gas plus gas solution. Okay, means when a gas is being mixed with another gas, then it is a type of gaseous solution. Okay, so a gaseous solution is a solution in which gas plus gas will be there. It means the solvent will also be a gas and the solute will also be a gas here. The example can be taken here for the gaseous solution when a mixture of oxygen gas and nitrogen gas is prepared out. Okay, so there, whichever of both the gases, let's say that in this solution, in this particular mixture, oxygen is having more amount, then it will be acting as a solvent there, and if the nitrogen is having lower amount, then it will be acting as a solute there. But it can be changed out also, it can be vice versa also, that if the nitrogen gas amount is more, then it will be acting as a solvent there, and if the oxygen gas amount is very less, then it can be acting as a solute there. Okay, next example is the next type is the liquid plus gas solution. Okay, means when we are dissolving uh, liquid in a gas. Okay, when we are dissolving liquid in a gas, it means that the amount of gas will be more here and the amount of liquid will be lower here. For example, when chloroform, which is a liquid, is mixed with nitrogen gas. Okay, chloroform, which is a liquid, is mixed with nitrogen gas. The formula for chloroform is CHCl3, trichloromethane. Okay, trichloromethane. This is chloroform only. So when trichloromethane, which is a liquid, is mixed with nitrogen gas, it is a mixture in which liquid is the solvent and the liquid is the solute and the gas is the solvent there. Third case is the in which gases are been acting as solvent and solid particles are acting as the solute there. Example, camphor, or we in Hindi we call it as Kapoor plus nitrogen gas. Okay, camphor plus nitrogen gas. Here the Kapoor, which is a solid substance, is directly been diffused into nitrogen. Okay, it is been sublimated directly into the nitrogen gas here. So this type of solution will be known as a solid plus gas solution, where solid will be acting as solute and gas will be acting as solvent there. Okay, let's move further. The next type of solution here is the liquid solutions. Okay, the next type of solution here is the liquid solutions. So the liquid solutions can be of also three types: one, two, three. First, here all the type of solvents will be liquid only. It means here liquid will be acting as a solvent and the particles, the solutes can be changed out here. So first, gas plus liquid. Okay, gas plus liquid. So gas plus liquid, the example here it can be taken as oxygen dissolved in gas, oxygen dissolved in water, sorry, oxygen dissolved in water, which is necessary for your aquatic animals. Aquatic animals, it is necessary. So the oxygen which is dissolved in water, that is a good example for your uh, which is a good example for your gas plus liquid example. Okay, where gas is acting as a solute and liquid is acting as a water is acting as a solvent here. Okay, and oxygen gas is acting as a solute here. Next is the liquid plus liquid. Okay, so many examples are there, such as ethanol in water or lemon juice in water. Okay, so all this will be example for your liquid in liquid solution. Next is the solid in liquid solution. So solid in liquid solution, sugar plus liquid, salt plus liquid. Okay, so all these are the your solutions which are in which solute is solid and solvent is liquid. Next type is the solid solutions. Next type is the solid solutions. So first, in solvent solid, when gases are being dissolved, okay, means gases are acting as solute here. So here you will see the example of hydrogen being dissolved in palladium. Okay, it is also known as the hydrogenation process. Okay, it is also known as hydrogenation process. Here, palladium metal will be acting as a catalyst in some of the chemical reaction, where palladium will be adsorbing, not absorbing. They are adsorbing the hydrogen gas. Okay, they are absorbing the hydrogen gas, and this hydrogen gas, which is absorbed by the palladium on its surface, is being used for some of the chemical reaction which are known as hydrogenation. Okay, so this is a very good example for your gases plus solids solution, where solid are acting as solvent and gases are acting as a solute. Next is the solid as solvent and liquid as solute. For this, amalgam is one of the great examples. Okay, here when amalgam of mercury is been taken with sodium. Okay, sodium is a solid here. It is been making a solution. It is making a solution with the amalgam of mercury here. Okay, so these are very good example for your liquid as solute and solid as solvent. Next is the solution of solid and solid. Solution of solid and solid, which is also known as alloys. Okay, you have studied about alloys in your class 10th. Okay, so alloys are nothing other than when two solids are mixed together. Okay, or they are forming a solution there. So when copper is dissolved in gold in order to strengthen the gold. Okay, when we are making steel, when we are making brass. Okay, all these things are very good examples of your alloys, and they are the examples for your solid solution, solid plus solid solutions. Okay, let's move further. Let's talk about some of your things which you have also studied in your class 11th also, but they are going to be used up in this chapter also. Okay, so first is the mass percentage. First topic which I am going to discuss here is the mass percentage, or also known as weight percentage also. Okay, weight by weight ratio or weight percentage. So what is mass percentage? The mass percentage of a component is in a given solution is the mass of the component per 100 gram of a solution. 100 gram of a solution. Mass percentage of the component mathematically is defined as mass of the component in the solution divided by the total mass of the solution. Okay, if I am taking let's say wa is equals to mass of solute and wb is equals to mass of solvent. You can change it either. Okay, you can take a as solvent and b as solute also. No limitation is there, or no restriction is there for this thing. Okay, but I am considering that a is solute and b is solvent here. So then the formula can be formed out here like this. Wa, if I am taking out the mass percentage for solute, okay, then the formula can be Wa upon Wa plus Wb into 100, where Wa is equals to mass of solute, and here if I am adding Wa plus Wb, it means that total mass of the solution, it is nothing other than the total mass of the solution. So when I am dividing the mass of a component of any particular component to the total mass of the solution into 100, then it is giving the weight by weight ratio, or weight by weight percentage. Okay, or mass by mass percentage. Next is the volume percentage. Okay, volume percentage, volume by volume percentage, or volume by volume ratio. The volume percentage of a component in a given solution is the volume of the component per 100 parts by the volume of a solution, by the volume of a solution. Okay, so here mass percentage formula, sorry, not mass percentage, here it must be volume percentage. So by mistake I have given here, so it must be volume percentage. So the volume percentage will be equal to volume of the component in the solution divided by the total volume of the solution. So here if I am considering that Va is the volume of solute and Vb is the volume of solvent, then for mass percentage of any of the component, let's say it is for solvent here, then it will be become Vb upon Va plus Vb, which is the total volume of the solution. Okay, and yes, you for solving this type of question, especially in the case of volume, you have to be clear about that if you are taking the total volume of the solution in liter, then the volume of the solute must also be in liter, because sometime in questions the volume of the components are given in milliliter and the total volume of the solution is given in liter. So you have to convert and make the both the units there same, or it will be very difficult. Sorry, the answer which we will be finding out there, it will be wrong directly there, because if you are taking here the value of volume of components in milliliter and putting the value of total volume of the solution in liter, then the answer will be wrong there. Okay, so be careful for solving this type of questions. Okay, next is the parts per million. Okay, parts per million of a solution, parts per million of a solution. So it is defined as the parts of a component per million parts of the solution. Okay, it is a part of a component in the per million part of the solution. Million means 10 to the power 6. Okay, so it can be defined as ppm. It is been represented as ppm, and the formula here becomes as mass of the component of solution, divided by total mass of the solution here. Okay, so it will be, formula can be written as W upon A, WA plus WB, but here you will multiply it with 10 to the power 6, because you are talking about per million of the solution. Okay, so here you will not multiply it with 100, you will multiply it with 10 to the power 6, and the answer which you are getting, it will be parts per million here. Okay, let's move further. And the next next topic which we are going to discuss here is the molarity. So what is molarity? The molarity is nothing other than the ratio of the number of the moles of any of the component. It is not necessary that it is depending on the solute only, but as in the conditions which we are going to take here, generally it will be solute, but it can be solvent also, or it can be solute also. Okay, so here you can take it as the number of the moles of components dissolved in 1 liter of the solution. Okay, dissolved in 1 liter of the solution, it is known as the molarity. Okay, to calculate the molarity of a solution, you must divide the moles of the given component divided by the liters of the solution. Okay. Also, if I am taking you here in more detail, then moles of component, moles of component divided by volume of solution in liter. This is the formula. But if I am changing the liters in milliliter, okay, let's say in some question it is given that the volume of the solution is been given in the milliliters. Then what you have to do? You have to put that volume in milliliter only. Okay, put that volume in milliliter only. Just multiply 1,000 here. So the answer will not change out here. Okay, the same will be the answer here. Also, we know that moles is equals to mass upon what molar mass. Okay, mass upon molar mass, you know this thing. Okay, so if I am considering for solute here, then the formula will become Ma upon capital Ma, Wa upon capital Ma. Put this here in the place of moles. Molarity for what? Molarity of solute. If I am calculating formularity of solute, then the formula will become Wa upon volume of solution, let's say it is in milliliter only, into capital Ma, which is the molarity, molar mass of the solute, into 1000. If you are taking it in liter, then this 1000 will be removed out from here. So this is also a formula where you can use this formula. Okay, so this is the molarity of a solute, or molarity of any of the component of the given solution. Okay, next is the molality. Okay, next is the molality. One more thing, let's see first the definition of molality, then I will give you the note about molarity and molality. The molality of a solution is the moles of solute divided by the kilograms of solvent. Okay, here you have to use the solute only. Okay, here you have to use the solute only. Okay, you as we are giving the definition here like this: molality is the solution, the number of the moles of the solute dissolved per 100 grams of the solvent. So here solute and solvents are directly given there. Okay, so here you can take the formula. It is generally denoted by small m. Molality is denoted by small m, while molarity is denoted by capital M. And the the unit, the SI unit for molarity is mole per liter. Mole per liter. Okay, or mole per milliliter. If it is given in milliliter, then mole per milliliter. Okay, but for molality it is mole per kilogram. It is mole per kilogram, because we are taking the mass of the solvent here. Okay, not the solution. We are taking the mass of the solvent, which is generally in kilogram. So for here, if I am writing out the formula, then the formula will be molality, small m is equals to mass of, sorry, not mass, moles of solute dissolved in mass of solvent, which is taken in kilogram. If you are not taking it kilogram, it is given in grams, then you have to change the formula like this, divided by mass of solvent in grams, and we will multiply 1000. Okay, now again we can change the formula here. For moles, WA upon molar mass of A, then the formula will become for molality, small m will be is equals to WA upon mass of solvent in grams into molar mass of A into 1000. Okay, so this is your molality. Okay, and the unit here will be moles per kg. Okay, moles per kg or moles per gram or moles per gram. Okay, you have to keep this thing in your mind. Now I am giving you a note here about these two. If considering the concentration of a solution, if considering for the concentration of solution, then which is better, molarity or molality? Okay, then which is better, molarity or molality? So the answer will be here that molality is better. Molality molality is better than molarity to define the concentration of of components in the solution. What is the reason behind this? The reason behind this is that the molarity is changed. Molarity is changed with the change in temperature. Okay, the molarity is changed with the change in temperature. You will see variation in the molarity of the solution, okay, with the change in temperature, while molality does not change with the solution. While you will see that molality does not change with the temperature, change with the temperature. So hence it will be more easy, or it will be more appropriate to define the concentration of any of the component by molality as comparison to that of the molarity. Okay, because molarity is changing with temperature, so the concentration can also be converted with the temperature. But the molarity which gives the concentration, that definition of particular concentration does not changes with the temperature. Okay, next is the normality. Okay, next is the normality. Let's talk about normality. What is normality? Normality is defined as the number of moles equivalent per liter of the solution. Okay, it is defined as the number of moles per equivalent of the solution. Okay, or normality of a solution is the number of gram equivalent of the solute dissolved per liter of the solution. Okay, so the formula becomes here gram equivalent weight of the solute divided by volume of the solution in liters. Okay, in liters, weight upon equivalent weight. Okay, also you can write it as weight upon equivalent weight here. Okay, And if you are taking liters in place of liter, if you are taking here, what you are taking here, if you are taking ml or milliliter, then 1000 will be multiplied here. Okay, and the equivalent weight is nothing other than the molar mass divided by number of moles. Okay, molar mass divided by the number of moles. And sorry, n, which is generally, n is the number of hydrogen atoms in any acid or hydroxide atoms in any base, where n is the number of hydrogen atoms, not hydrogen atoms, it is hydrogen ions generally in an acid, and or OH minus ions in the bases, in case of bases. Okay, so this is your equivalent weight here. Next is the mole fraction. Okay, next is the mole fraction. Mole fraction is denoted by chi. It looks like X and we call it as chi. Okay, mole fraction is defined as the number of moles of a component in a mixture divided by the total number of the moles in the given mixture. Okay, so as you are having two components here, okay, as you are having two components here, one is the solute and one is the solvent. Okay, one is the solute and one is the solvent. So for solute, let's say moles is Na, and for solvent, let's say moles is Nb. Okay, then the mole fraction will be given as, then the mole fraction for solute, it will be is equals to Na upon total moles in the solution. Similarly, mole fraction for solvent will be given as Nb upon Na plus Nb. Okay, Nb upon Na plus Nb. Okay, and always remember that, sorry, it is chi A, okay, and chi B, like this we have given. And also the relation between the relation also is that for a solution it will be is equals to 1. The sum of both this will be is equals to 1. How you can prove it also here? Na upon Na plus Nb plus Nb upon Na plus Nb, it will be giving you Na plus Nb upon Na plus Nb. So it gets cancelled out and answer will be 1. Okay, so it has been proved out. So this is the mole fraction. This is the mole fraction. Okay, so this was about some of the definitions and the introduction of your solution chapter. In the next part, we will continue with more of some of the topics with this chapter. So for today, I am closing the class here only, and we will meet in the further classes. So be safe and be at your home. Thank you.